Good afternoon, friends. I am Rishikesh Mishra. I welcome you back to the ninth lecture in the course of Disaster Management Challenges in CBRN Emergencies. Like the previous lecture, this lecture will be delivered by Dr. Kunal Sharma. And I should have introduced Dr. Kunal Sharma in the last lecture, but I missed that. So for the introduction part, let me bring to your information. Dr. Kunal Sharma is presently working as Assistant Director Safety, the Chemical Department in DG Fastly in the Ministry of Labor and Employment at Delhi. Dr. Sharma is BTech, MTech in Chemical Engineering, and he also completed his doctorate from Mewar University, Rajasthan. Sri Sharma is having very experienced knowledge in the field of disaster management. In fact, before joining DG Fastly, he worked with NDMA as a farmer consultant also. And now he has more than 12 years professional experience in the field of chemical disaster risk reduction and transportation risk reduction. Today's lecture is being streamed for your benefit. Actually, it is a slightly different lecture. It's a pre-recorded lecture. As Dr. Sharma is busy today, he's traveling. So he has recorded it for our benefit well in advance and will be streaming it online. Dr. Sharma will be joining us on YouTube with the help of his mobile. But I think we will not be able to take question answer session today. So that we'll discuss in the next lecture if you have any questions. So over to the recorded version of Dr. Sharma's lecture today. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everybody. I am Dr. Kunal Sharma. In last session, I have covered some important aspects of man-made disaster. So I think we should start refreshing the earlier presentation and then we will move on to next thing. So in the last lecture, what we all have covered was basically types of man-made disasters, wherein we have learned something about chemical accident or spillage. We have seen how to handle chemical accidents, what is the impact of spillage, how we can take the measures, how to stop, and general observations wherein we as in responders can contribute. Second man-made disaster was an anatomical failure where we have seen the building collapse part, how the buildings can be collapsed, how can we prevent all the things, and with the help of examples. Then the third was contamination of water, where we have seen, where we have received all the things, how to stop the contamination, what are the sources of contaminations, what the chemicals involved in the contamination, etc. And the fourth was transportation mishaps, wherein we have seen the modes of transportation. You may remember that road, ship, water, pipeline, everything is there. And then we have moved to the case studies where we have seen the transportation of lithium packaging material and it got transported, and then we have seen how the incident took place. So this was in my earlier lecture for man-made disasters. Now we will start the coming disasters which I have enlisted. So today we will start with the help of some major other man-made disasters which we can see over here. The first is mining mishaps, or we can say it as mining disaster or mines disaster. We have seen that in the recent scenarios, mining has become safer, but as I already quoted, cannot be mitigated 100%, and mishaps still happen. In addition to several other risks, miners could become stuck in collapsing mining tunnels, toxic gas leaks, and dust explosions. So we can say that yes, mining is a very important aspect for any economy where we ore where the mines helps to provide us several ores, several minerals, several resources. But yes, we are contributing in economy, but after that also the impact of safety is very much of concern, and how the disaster can take place in the mines is a big thing of concern. So the features of mining mishaps can be say as there could be numerous things that can lead to mining incidents, such as leak of explosive natural gases. It is quite you can say very much coming into the system wherein natural gas leaked or explosive gas leaked, like fire damp or methane or deadly gases. Methane is a very common procedure. You can see wherein C6H12O6 is there, and the break of this particular chemical can lead into the leakage of methane. So if you can see this thing, methane is there for you. It is a very much contributor thing, and deadly gases like hydrogen sulfide, explosions of dust, mines stops collapsing, seismicity caused by mining, inundation, common mechanical mistakes, mechanical and electrical issues, pit blazes, abrupt leakages, mistakes made when preparing, moving, and using materials, both individual and environmental variables are also there. So you can say the contribution of n number of things is there which can lead to the mining incident. Starting from, I have already quoted that leakage of any natural gas. Example is methane. There could be n number of gases inside the mines that can be wherein the workers, wherein the people over there can be exposed, and it generally causes a big problem in the mines. So you can see mechanical mistakes, electrical issues, abrupt leakages, mistakes made by human when preparing and using materials. For example, some miners going down to 1 kilometer or say 1.5 kilometer, because in mines whose depth is around 1 to 2 kilometers. So there you can just imagine 1 kilometer inside the earth. You have to work over there. There is a mine inside the earth, and you have to focus work with safety. So risk is always there, but the contributors, as I already quoted, are gases, chemicals, mine stock collapsing, seismicity, yes, earthquake and all these things, inundation, water filling, water blockage, all these things are there. Parallelly, when we go for the mining part, we use certain amount of equipments, which is also a big concern. So I have written over here inadequate safety features and occupational skills. See, again, mining is an occupation only. If we are using or utilizing proper SOPs, proper directions from the government of India, from any government, state governments or miners, so it could be mitigated to a much bigger extent. Rather, if we are exposing ourselves. Next point I have put is inadequate education. You know, India is a very this type of country wherein we follow the contractor system. So contractor calls the worker, and the workers are ready to go anywhere. I was doing a audit in a thermal power plant long time back, wherein I have seen that during the audit period, 4 or 5 workers are inside a pool of water which is quite muddy. They were treating a portion of plant wherein they are focusing on the issues inside the plant. Example is that there are some material falls into that particular section of the plant, and uh, it becomes little hazy or say muddy type of thing. So mud is there with water, and you cannot see. It's very tough to see, and they have to cross that particular section because another section is inside the water thing only. So I just gone to that place, walked to that place. I've seen two people are working. The electrical wires are inside the place where they are working. And when I called, okay, please come out because there could be a issue of electrical hazard over there. Two people come outside. Suddenly, witness and notice that two, three more people are coming who are working beside the this thing. Like, how did you reach there? They told, sir, okay, we dipped it. Just how we take bath in the rivers at ponds. We just go there and we are working inside the water, muddy condition with electrical wires overall. So these are the features. In mines, it is quite pertinent that workers are over there, water blockage, water village is over there, and we have to work on that particular part. So education is much required. We called the supervisor also, but it took time. What we got information that somebody from control room has called these people. You have to do the maintenance part, and where is the supervisor? Sir, we can handle on our own. We are doing this routine job for past 20 or say 10 years. So this is the issues of inadequate education. They haven't uses the proper SOP, proper procedure of maintenance along with safety. So education is much important. It's not that somebody has told and you are following some mistake identity, a mistaken procedure, and you are following for a long time. So this is an important part for mining mishaps. Next is inability of specialized equipment to function. Again, mines are quite old. Some mines are working for past 50 years, 30 years, and we don't have specialized equipment to function. What we are doing, we are using the old mechanism. We are not using robots. We are not using the AIs. We are not using the technologies. We are not using any specifications. We haven't changed till now. And the mines have changed. The nature of mines have changed in past 50 years due to environmental conditions, due to any conditions. But what is the thing? The inability of specialized equipment which we required. If you want some specialized torch in the mines, we are just utilizing this. This happens in that particular place where I am good example of the laborers are dipped in the water. They are doing this thing in presence of only two small old-fashioned 100-watt bulbs. So you can just imagine they are using 100-watt bulb and they are working over there very quite happily. So this is the thing. Next point is low perception of risk and safety is important factor, unaware of the significance of adhering to the regulations for monitoring gas density before charging powder, before burst and after burst, and disregard of the surroundings. So if you go for the parameters, you can say that there is monitoring gas density. How much gas is there? Mines, but obvious is a confined space. There is one entry, maybe there is two entry, two exit, but it is downside. So we are disregarding the concept of surroundings. How is the surrounding? Is there efficient light? Illumination factor is proper. Do we have safety parameters? What would happen if a bust took place over there? Are we following the proper SOPs? For your information, I will like to quote you. There is a department in under Ministry of Labor and Employment, which we called as DGMS, Directorate General of Mine Safety. This is the body which generally covers the major portion of worker safety or occupational safety for miners or the workers going in that particular mine. So they have certain regulations. We have some mines act over there, and they have provided proper SOPs which we all have to follow. But generally, what we have seen in practical scenarios that nobody is bothered for the safety part because they are already using certain things. So low perception of risk and safety. If anybody, any mine owner, anybody is entering this thing, he should be aware of all these proper SOPs, proper procedures, proper laid down guidelines provided by the government of India or say any state government wherever you are working, any federal government, any state government, any national government. So these are things which you have to focus upon. Moving to next slide. What are the countermeasures? Countermeasures is again a big thing which we have to focus upon for each and every man-made disasters. Mining mishaps can have detrimental effects on the environment and on employees. So if we see, yeah, so if we see that things are going on a proper node, so Again, I want to. So we can start with this particular slide, which is very important. I was quoting about the respective issues of the mines this thing. Due to some issues, it is not coming on, but we will start from this place. That mining accidents in India. So I've just given the figure of you that starting from date of incident 13/10/2023, Narayan Puri Colliery of the East Coalfields Limited in Erga Gram Panchayat in Raniganj Police Station area, around 80 kilometers from Asansol, wherein 3 people got killed, 10 got injured. The reason was unguarded open cast mine caved in and collapsed during illegal extraction. So this is the thing which you to focus upon. How to focus is much important in this scenario. Then we have on 13 September 2023, Midwest Granite Company, Korba, wherein again 1 people killed, nobody injured. While blasting the granite, the stone fell on the deceased and was crushed. On 18/8, again 23, you can see the data of 2023 only. NICIL, mine in Rajasthan, 37 got injured, and in April 2023, in Odisha again, 2 people got killed and 5 got injured. So you can see the gravity. Maybe the any issues. Pickup bus at mine 2 near diesel bunk ferrying citizens from time of to Crowell got toppled. Okay, portion of the side wall collapsed on him while working on the control panel. The person who got fixed on this thing. There are issues, but detrimental effects are too quite obvious in any mines. This thing. Why in case of mine disaster it is quite evident that it can happen any time. Now, the next type of disaster is very, very common, that is known as detonations and flames. The biggest explosion disaster that isn't nuclear happened recently. 2020 saw an explosion in the port of Beirut due to nitrate that had been improperly stored. 6,000 people were hurt and almost 200 people lost lives. The overall case study was that in Beirut, you have heard about this news in port of Beirut, around a huge amount of nitrate was stored, and it was stored for past 2 to 10 to 15 years, and when it got ignited due to any resources it got exploded. And you can see the figure, 6,000 people were hurt and 200 people almost lost their lives. So this is a big problem, because at where you can say anywhere this type of materials are stored, and when it got detonate or explode, it can have a big problem in the nearby communities. What are the features of detonation? Typically, it is an explosive process with 3 fundamental features. First, what it is a chemical mixture or substance that ignites when exposed to heat, stress, friction, or any combination of these elements. So again, if you see about this particular slide, you can easily understand that during the detonation, it has a combination of heat, stress, friction. Anything can be contributor of this thing, but the impact is very, very tough. The consequences are very high, and generally in that case, people are communities are very, very danger, because it is very tough to deal with mass casualty management. Generally, what happened, all these things, we have to tackle mass community. So it is a thing. Second property is that it decomposes quickly in a detonation upon ignition. That means it is utilizing huge amount of energy, or it is generating huge amount of energy and utilizing the source in a very big pace. Just giving you example, if you burn a simple wood, and if you burn a wood which is having petrol or diesel or say kerosene upon that wood, so who will ignite first? The material, the wood which is having external chemical also, like igniting material, flame material like petrol or kerosene. It will ignite very, very easily, and in comparison to some other this thing. So it is much important and relevant also that you have to think about them. Third is a significant amount of high pressure gases and heat are released quickly. So what we call in our domain is huge amount of energy is being liberated. So it is also evident that we have to think about this thing. In if you talk about the technical terms, we generally call as it as BLEVE, BLEVE. believe, B L E V and E. It is called as boiling, liquid, expanding, vapor, explosion. Boiling, liquid, expanding, vapor, explosion. Boiling is liquid plus expanding, vapor is expanding and also exploding. So there are 5 terms. You can say boiling is there, then we have say liquid is there, then we have expansion, then we have vapor, then we have explosion also. So you can just this thing, what is the nature of the detonation? It is very tough phenomena, and you can see the clouds over there. It actually explodes in this way only. So it is very tough for anybody to check this out in a proper way. Next, what are the countermeasures? The following are some strategies to stop explosions and fires. First, carry out risk analysis. It is very important to identify the risk of any stored material, any transported material, any moving material, I should say, wherever stored. What are the properties? What are the risks associated with that particular material? It is very much evident that you understand that yes, this material can create big problem, and we have to think about that parameter also. So risk analysis, that means you have to, what we have already learned and we will learn in next HRVCA, hazard, risk, vulnerability, capacity assessment. What is the risk associated with this matter? How vulnerable is the community? What are the hazards? What is our capacity? How will we do this? It is much required that we should understand the risk analysis. Risk analysis can be done by a number of tools in engineering industry. If you talk about this thing, there are some tools like what we generally teach to our students, basically FTA versus ETA. What is FTA? FTA is fault tree analysis and ETA is event tree analysis. So what generally we propose or teach to or make the students understand that stop the F failure, FTA failure, stop the, sorry, FTA, sorry, FTA, mitigate the steps in FTA only so that ETA cannot be come into picture. Failure, if we are able to stop failure, it will not be converted into event, and parallelly it will not be converted into any incident or disaster. So if we are able to stop FTA, sorry, failure, okay, we can easily stop the event, and then we could easily assess the or mitigate the disaster. You just understand, if we stop the failure, it will not create any event and it will not create any disaster. So we are trying to communicate about the risk analysis part. Second, employee education on fire safety, because detonation is there and explosion is there. So fire safety is a much important parameter. Whenever we are utilizing this type of material, then we have maintain proper housekeeping. It is much required that we should understand the parameters of housekeeping. Why? Housekeeping is important parameter in any terms. If we go for the housekeeping part, we have to understand that housekeeping is not only the cleaning of the material, but how safely we clean the material, how we are considering the material is also required. Generally, what happens, we think that a simple mechanism, we have to remove the dust, we have to remove this thing, but no, it's not like that. We have to understand that housekeeping is a very specialized course where we have to understand the particular understanding of this thing. So specific issues, then we have to create emergency protocols and plan to prevent fires. It is much required. Examine and maintain our facility and equipments. These all things are parallelly connected, but yes, we have to think upon this part also, that how will we cover up all these issues. Next, what are the examine, maintain your facility and equipment is again a big thing. Next is the specific issues with disaster management for detonation claims. As I was earlier also quoting, that I'm trying to correlate these small issues to the disaster management part. Disaster management, again, yeah, DRR, what we are learning nowadays, DRR is a big thing. So we have to understand. So fires and explosions can cause issues of disaster management in a variety of contexts, such as, first, if we talk the example of coal mines, the presence of combustible gases, as I have already put it, such as methane, plus electrical sparks or spontaneous heating can all result in methane is already available in the lower strata, but yes, it could contribute to the detonation or flame explosion part. Explosions caused by dust, coal dust, can be considerably more hazardous and destructive. For example, wherever you go, you can see the thermal power plants are there. Right now, government is doing something on that, but yes, thermal power plants are there. So in that particular issues, we have to understand, yes, that this explosion can caused by coal dust can be considerably more hazardous and destructive. Then urban environment is the next step. It is in heavily populated urban areas, fire poses a serious concern. You can just think about this particular part, small amount of fire. You must have remembering that 4 5 years back in Pakistan, there is a tanker containing hydrocarbon. Basically, it was petrol or say diesel. So it got leaked, it got collided due to any reasons, and the people got starting to collect petrol in drums from that accident wagon, and suddenly somebody was smoking and he threw the cigarette or whatever you say on that part, and it 350 people, nearby 350 people got affected, and they just, you can, what happened to them, you can just imagine. So this was the concern. Populated area and fires are very much thing, and detonation and flames do this, you know very well on their distance. Nations, the next part is that nation with lax safety regulations or low safety regulations. These nations are more vulnerable to explosion-related mishaps because they don't have provisions. You can just, you all remember, and we are regularly following this up for the Bhopal gas disaster. You know very well about the Bhopal gas disaster. What happened in that? There were no proper protocols in that. After Bhopal only, we got the concept of MSISC 1989 rules, that is manufacturing, storage, and import of hazardous chemical. So the hazard took place, and then we got to know, okay, there is a big mishap, and now we have to do something, and you can easily understand how many people got affected in that Bhopal disaster. Now coming to the next slide, examples of incidents involving detonations and flames. Industrial explosions. I have given the first example of industrial explosion, 1947 Texas City disaster. See, we have to learn from the future, so that's why I again tried to quote some examples in that, so that we could easily understand, and we will not have big problems in understanding what we actually want to learn from this particular thing. Now you can see what happened. A ship carrying ammonium nitrate exploded in the port of Texas, resulting in a massive destruction of over 500 deaths. Okay, at that time there must be less laws, regulations, but the material is the same. The property of material is not going to change till now. It will not change. It will never change. As I have already quoted, as every human being has different properties, similar every chemicals or this type of products have different properties. So similar cases for the ammonium nitrate, where it got exploded and 500 people died. This was in a category of industrial explosion. Second is the gas explosion. San Bruno pipeline explosion 2010. It's not a very old explosion. A natural gas pipeline exploded in California, causing a large fire, several fatalities, and significant property damage. I am quoting all this thing, and it is very easy for you people to Google it out. Whatever I am quoting over here, maybe I would not able to explain you the proper concern, but yes, it is very easy right nowadays. We can easily read the case studies. We only have to click San Bruno pipeline explosion 2010. We will get n number of material in the internet. We can understand. I am only giving the examples and relating it to detonation and flames and consequences of detonation and flames. Third work is firework accidents. 2000 firework disaster in the Netherlands. India also witnessed a lot, but I have just given an example. 23 fatalities and extensive damage to surrounding area. It was only a firework accident, but what happened? Next is oil rig fire, deep water horizon oil spill 2010. Again, the data is not very old. An explosion on the deep water horizon drilling ridge in the Gulf of Mexico resulted in a massive oil spill and 11 fatalities. Terrorist attack, 1993 WTC bombing, truck bomb detonated in the underground parking garage of the WTC in New York City, killing 6 people, injuring over 5,000. And residential fires, house fires caused by various factors such as electrical faults, gas leaks, other hazards can result in fatalities and injuries. So there is, if you see this slide, and if we try to Google it out with another related explosions also, we can easily understand, yes, the main factor is detonation, flames. So this is a man-made type of thing which can be mitigated with utilization of proper SOPs and mechanisms. So this is like that. Now next we will learn a lot in the upcoming presentations by experts from HPNI, BRC. I am not the right man to say or discuss something, but as I have been assigned for the topic of man-made disasters, I could say it is also a man-made type of disaster, radiation and nuclear accidents. Deadliest, all have heard about the Chernobyl, and you all will learning in a lot about this thing, wherein a radioactive material got discharged. It was necessary to relocate about 3,00,000 people. So you can ask any questions related to this to the expert from nuclear, but only for the part which I have to cover up. I am putting the slide in this thing. What are the features? A nuclear or radiation incident, according to the International Atomic Energy Agency, we have AERB over there, we have BRC. I have already submitted that this will be taken care by expert faculties. I'm not expert of this thing, but yes, I will try to only the definition and small features of man-made disaster is being taken by me. So, is any incident that has a major impact of people, environment, and the facilities. Nuclear accidents have certain characteristics such as radioactive substance released by a particular plant or activity. The effects of radioactivity extends beyond the site boundaries. Obviously, they are the waves, so they can go anywhere, they can travel anywhere. There are imitation studies also, but yes, and may even reach neighboring states. We have seen about the Chernobyl, we have seen the Fukushima, we witnessed these things, so we can easily say it can travel to any place. External or internal contamination may occur through ingestion, inhalation, or absorption through open wounds or intact skins. Because of its molecular similarities to potassium, radioactive cesium will also be spread throughout the body. So you can see the impact that it could spread throughout the body wherever is there. Yeah, depends on the dose, how much dose we are taking. It's not this thing, but it can be impacted, and the major portion will be understood later on in the subsequent classes, because it is our in CBRN, RN is separate entity, and you can see chemical biological on the one side, RN together standing together, so they have a very big spectrum. So radiant accidents have incidents have certain characteristics such as caused by radiation sources that are broken, not sealed. Radiation sickness symptoms includes weakness, nausea, burn on the skin, hair loss, and decreased organ functions. Exposure of sufficient magnitude may result in accelerating aging and over death. These are the certain important parameters of radiation. I will quickly go through these slides, because I know I'm not the right person for teaching you all or submitting something. The countermeasures are: seek out indoor cover, reduce your radiation exposure, avoid exposure to radioactive sources. Examples I have already quoted, and you will learn in long impact that Fukushima was there, 2011, Japan, Chernobyl, 1986, 20,000 people affected, 3 Mile Island, 1979, and radiotherapy accidents, 85, 87. So there are certain issues, but yes, I will quickly skip these slides because we will learn a lot in subsequent slides. Grid breakdown. Again, I have tried to list something, but yes, it's also a big thing, and I say that it should be covered as a man-made disaster. When the grid fails, people may be left without electricity for essentials like heating, cooling, or life-saving medical equipment. You have the live example of the Israel and Hamas war. What happened? Palestine is not getting huge amount of electricity, or say normal amount of electricity also, and they are not vulnerable of the war, but they are vulnerable of the basic equipment, that is light. So we have to think on that part, that how they become vulnerable. The problem is not that they are facing the war only, but electricity is also a big problem. Dark streets. I already got a dark streets. Without functional traffic signals, also have a high risk of traffic accidents. Anybody could go anywhere. You must have seen some movies also when certain enemies of India, they have just captured the system of traffic, and they have rooted all over there. So it is a very big thing. Amongst the biggest and most well-known grid failures in the recent memory is the Texas power outage to 2021. Large grid failures, however, are frequent and commonplace worldwide. For the features, the power grid accomplishes three goals. It increases the capacity of power supply, guarantees optimal use of energy resources, and improves the efficiency and dependability of the power system operations. The purpose of connecting and generating station is to lower each area's spinning reserve or reserve generation capacity. So it's a very good feature. How we have to, the grid background can impact a lot, but power grid helps a lot in developing, as I've shown you in the figures also. It has a very big thing. The following are some unique issues for grid disaster management. First, broken systems of command and control and failures of communication system. Grid is failure, you are not getting proper listing and it got failed. Electricity grid. Examples of grid breakdown. Electricity grid. Electricity grid has three main sections: generation, transmission, distribution. So when you go for this part, so generation is stopped, transmission will stop and distribution stop. You can just imagine if you are not able to generate amount of energy, what will impact? What will impact? Every industrial area will be stopped. We will stop the production. We will stop the trains. Everything will stop if you are not able to transmit and distribute. Next is electricity mix. Electricity mix can be broken down by the country. For example, they are not able to supply properly and the issues come thing. The last is grid failure. A grid can fail when the frequency drops below the lower limit of 49.5 to 50.2 hertz band or shoots up beyond the upper limit. There are technical terms which say certain scenarios wherein the grid has to operate in certain frequencies. So it impacts. If it crosses the limit, lower say high limit, it is big problem. This can cause transmission lines to stop accepting power supply and other grid constituents, including the generating station, go out of it. So it's a chain of sequence wherein you can see the chain is connecting one to one. The steps are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the main grid breakdowns, you will not go for the generation, you will not able to transmit to the small subunits and distribution will stop. Eventually, it's a big form of disaster, very, very big for disaster because people will be vulnerable. Community will be facing big issues. They are vulnerable to the requirement. Right now, we cannot live without the proper light. You just imagine 2 days, 3 days without light in your area. How will you work? So it's a man-made disaster. You will suffer each and everything. We have seen just recently, we have seen small issues, near in Haryana, a district in Nu, wherein the government stopped the internet connectivity for only 2 to 3 days in the nearby districts. The problem persists from there only. I'm just putting an example to you. What happened? 90% of the urban people are utilizing this payment gateways or apps on a regular basis. So what happened? We are not able to use transportation mechanism. Ola, Uber, we are not able to book. We are not able to pay because we don't keep much cash over there. We are not able to pay cash. What happened? Everything stopped. Economy got collapsed. Nobody is able to walk. Nobody is able to travel. Nobody is able to eat. Zomato, Swiggy, all these companies. A lot of people are dependent on these companies only. Why? They have to eat food. They are working. Japanese first is just think about the Japan part. So these are the big issues for the electricity grid failure. Understand part. Next is the oil leaks. We have said in the chemical spillage. Now we are on the oil leaks. Disaster like oil spills can have detrimental effects or hazardous effects on the environment, economy, and society. They are the discharge of refined petroleum products or crude oil from offshore platforms, rig wells, and tankers. While they can happen on land, marine environments are where these leaks happen frequently. You can very easily understand, and you have seen, witness that everything, this type of material or oil got leaked in the ambient environment of any ocean, any sea, what will happen? So we have to think upon this part. It's also a man-made disaster. We are utilizing the oil, but yes, it has good part also. It's a negative part also. So for the negative parts, we have to think. And yes, it has an effect on environment, economy, and society also. Everybody's got affected if certain amount of marine this thing is polluted. What are the features? The features are density, because most of oil is less dense than water. It spreads over the surface of the liquid. This is the reality, you have seen. You can just take a test at your home, take a glass of water, pour one drop of edible oil in that glass, you will see it will be on the layer of that particular glass of water. And if you pour 1 teaspoon of oil, you will see entire glass is filled. And what happened? It will choke the surface of this particular water. It will not allow the oxygen to enter inside, or the whatever present in the water will be stopped. It becomes a gateway. It becomes a gate. It will not allow anything to enter it. Second is the amount of attraction between a liquid surface molecules, and it is known as surface tension. Surface tension, amount of attraction between the liquid and surface molecules. So if it hindered, again you will not able to manage aquatic life, marine life, and it will create big problem. Third feature is the viscosity. Oils with low viscosity can be easily dispersed across the ocean surface. So these are three chemistry terms which is very easily understand how viscous the material, how dense, and what is the surface tension. These are the features or properties of the oil which got lead in any ocean. What are the countermeasures? Isolate the area. To identify this thing, use barricades and warning cones. Utilize spill beams and booms to contain the leak. Spill bombs and booms. Booms is the only solution right now. Not only solution, but yes, it is the major part of solution which can be provided to any this thing to clean up all these leaked chemicals or oils. Examples of oil leaks. Are basically you can see on the normal part: bad oil filter, bad gasket, camshaft seek leak, loosed in plug, incorrect installations. All these things are there for the oil leaks part. It is basically, I'm just giving the example of localized which we can see in the regular basis. But when you think about this particular on a ship part, on the oil part, it is a very, very big probabilistic thing. Next is the warfare. There have been 15 years in American history when there has not been conflict. There has been at least 285 armed confrontations since the World War II, the war of end of all wars. You all have heard about the World War II. After that, the war was not present. Features of the warfare: there is no regular brutality, devastation, or fatality. Then in warfare, regular or irregular military forces may be involved. You just think the Ukrainian Russian war. You can see the Israel Hamas. So these all things are there, but military forces are involved. They are using a huge amount of explosive material. Right now, you can see the chemical warfare are also there. They are being utilized over there. So the following are some traits of warfare. Warfare with psychology. It is very much important. You can think big say players or partners like I will not try to name any nation, but yes, big players play with the psychology. Example is the Afghanistan Taliban conflict. What happened? One fine day, Afghanistan is being converted into Taliban. So it is the this thing. Psychology is completely changed. They have imposed their own rules, and they have to follow. Employ psychological risk and tricks and propaganda to sway opposition groups' beliefs, feelings, attitudes, and actions. If somebody captures our country or some other country, first of all, he will impose the thought. It will focus on your mind or thought process. So it will try to change your beliefs, your feelings, attitudes, and actions. You have seen they have closed in Taliban or Afghanistan. They have closed all the beauty parlors. They are not allowing this thing. They thought, no, this is not the right way to live. This is not as per our SOP. So this is the thing: unequal combat. So then the countermeasures. Countermeasures are tools, signals, and methods designed to reduce or completely stop and adversely force operational efficacy. They may take an active or quiet role also. Next is killing. Again, it's a man-made disaster, killing a number of people. Among the most recent genocides are the following. According to the UN, genocide is defined as acts committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part national or religious group. Example I have already quoted: genocide against the Rohingya people and ISIS of the Yazidis. So if we go for the definition part, it is basically act committed with intent to destroy either in whole or part a national, ethical, racial, or religious group. Means they target on a specific segment. For example, there are hundreds of Dr. Kunal there. So they try to kill Dr. Kunal in bulk. They will not try to kill hundreds of Sharma. So they thought that Kunal is a group which is not fit for us. It is a problem for us. So they will try to kill Kunal. They will not try to kill Sharma because Sharma may be dominant and Sharma have enough community power. So they tried. This happens. Genocide against Rohingya. Maybe Rohingya people are less in population, or they are not following their beliefs, following other countries' beliefs. So this is the thing. And IS you know very well. What are the features? Deliberate eradication of a population, either whole or partially, is known as genocide. The UN Genocide Convention of 1948 defined genocide as any of 5 acts committed with the intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethical, racial, religious group. These 5 acts included killing group members, seriously injuring them physically or psychologically, imposing living conditions meant to crush the groups, stopping births, and forcibly removing children from the group. You can see the 5 parts very clearly written over here. Killing group members, you kill the group members, seriously injure them physically or psychologically. You have seen certain movies also which came into picture right now, what they people can do on our mindset. They completely change us. We will not able to believe on our own beliefs. Imposing living conditions meant to crush the group, stopping births. You were not allowed to give births of your whole culture or region, and forcibly removing children from the group. Children are removed, everything will be stopped. What happened? Giving an example, if you remove the children from that group and treat them in other way, or you impose something on them, or you first example is that you are a bread eater country, they will say no, you don't eat bread, you eat rice. They will take the kids, they will feed the kid for say 10 years, rice, then they all will have the habit of rice. This is a very small example which I'm quoting. So this is the issues of genocides or killing. Not at random, victims are targeted because of their actual or imagined participation in a group. They thought, these people thought, who has the power, they can thought. Countermeasures. The state do not have a legally recognized right to take action against one another in the benefit of the whole. Nonetheless, there are steps that can be done to stop genocide, such as advocating for just economic growth and the equal allocation of political power. It is very tough to achieve, but yes, one major factor of man-made disaster is killing. It is done by us and to our people only. Encouraging respect and tolerance for differences in racial, religious, and cultural background. So these 3 parts are there. We have to accept, yes, on up to which extent is again debatable. But in terms of man-made disaster, how communities being affected by these type of things is again a thought of concern. Unrest in civilization. We are witnessing, we are seeing that this type of things has been increased in recent eras. So acts of mass disobedience, strikes, and rioting are examples of civil unrest disasters. People are not supporting their own leaders. They will say, no, we are not going to support you. What we call in Hindi as takta palat. They have elected these people. They have given vote for them, but because of these properties, they will not believe in their leadership. There have been several instances of civil unrest throughout US history, many of which have led to significant property damage and fatalities. One of the bloodiest riots in US history occurred in Los Angeles 1991, resulting thousands of injuries and 53 fatalities. So you can, for the example part, you can see the other civilizations unrest issues also, but only for the example point I have quoted over here that it happens in US. Only for the example part, we have to connect all this thing with the man-made disaster and disastrous issues for this thing. How a small say thought process being changed, we are supporting that leader, and mass people started because of the policies made by these leaders. What are the features? A meeting of 3 or more individuals with the intention of breaking the law and causing a public disturbance is known as civil unrest. It can appear in several ways, such as limited act of political violence, such as assassinations or act of terrorism, and random acts of collective violence like riots. We all had heard about that rule Dhara 144. Government don't allow to Government don't allow in case 4 people stand together and move together. Why? Because there is a probability of civil unrest. As I quoted the example, a meeting of 3 or more individuals with the intention of breaking the law. 4 people is a big power. 4 brains, 4 body working together. It's a very big thing. Countermeasures: speak first, remain united, maintain a pulse. Means you have to think, speak first. Whatever is in your mind, you have to speak to people. Remain united. Whatever is your country, whatever is your belief, first think. You be united. It's not like that somebody says, okay, something's going to happen and you started fighting with this particular response. No, it's not like that. Maintain a pulse. thought stop for some time, think about that part, is it okay or not, then only take a decision. And in my this thing, this is not the way. And but yes, for man-made disaster, it's a part of the cover up. Next, not very but particular to the say life of the people, lifespan of people, but yes, hyperinflation is a new form of man-made disaster. If you see this figure, what is the inflation? Rapid, excessive, and out of control general price increases in an economy. It will not impact directly to any community, but indirectly it will completely ruin the economy. How? People will not able to take proper nutrients. Starvation will come into picture. People will get starved. They will not able to get essential facilities. For example, just imagine if the price of medical amenities, medical facilities goes beyond our this thing. What will happen? We will die. We will not die natural death. We will die artificial death. We will not able to feed our childs. We are not able to feed ourselves. We are not able to feed our cattle. All these will come into picture. So hyperinflation occurs when people lose faith in their currency and loses value. We have seen in Sri Lanka what happened. People were finished. Big players, big cricket players were on the ground. They have nothing to eat. They have nothing. Finished. How will this? Because of hyperinflation. During the hyperinflation in Yugoslavia in the 90s, the currency lost value so quickly that people used their worthless money as wallpaper. It's of no use. So we have to think in this part also that it is also a man-made disaster. It will not impact directly, but indirectly it will take your life not in one go, but it will take some time. Features. It is a term used to describe rapid, excessive, and out of control general prices. It typically measured at more than 50% per month. Means increment in 50 per month per month will say that means all the material example is pen or say with the medicine. If it is increasing 50% per month, for example, when you are purchased a medical for say 100 rupees, again it increase 150, then 200 in a very fast pace, then it is again inflation type of thing, hyperinflation. Countermeasures, creating a new currency, adopting a different currency, pegging the hyperinflating currency to something solid such as gold, and effective capital controls. Or we can go for the conventional methods of what we Indians do. We can go for the slowest part. Anything is again, it's a debatable topic. How to stop inflation at our end is very tough, but only for this part, lecture part, I have quoted over here the hyperinflation part. You can go for this thing, and we generally in India use this technology, gold or silver or any material. So we do this. It is a common for terrorism. Again, it is a new thing. Can't say a new thing, but yes, impact is very common. It has many definitions, but in generally used to still fear in the population. Many definition, but fear in the population is a quite common term. There are many forms of terrorism: mass shootings, bioterrorism, hostage taking, all things come. So mass shooting, bio hostage. We have witnessed bioterrorism also. Some people say COVID was a mistake. Some people say COVID is a bioterrorism. So it is again a debatable topic, but yes, it can take in many places. Mass shootings you have witnessed in the US also. Recent 4 5 days back also, some person started mass shooting only to make this thing hostage taking in Hamas and Israel also. Hundreds of people are being hostage. This is a part of terrorism. Again, for the features part, it is a complex and multi-faceted phenomenon characterized by several distinct features and attributes. These characteristics help define and understand act of terrorism and the group of individuals involved. Certain characteristics of terrorism, sorry for that, I forgot to put it, but I will go for the countermeasures. Strengthening law enforcement and judicial capabilities. This is very big thing. Law enforcement and judicial capabilities. I am very happy with the approach that Delhi Metro has adopted. You can see Indians per se are not very say law followers, but you can see in DMRC not go for the right now news, whichever fake news is there or whatever is going to happen, but in the times of sense of responsibility. 99% or 99.9% travelers of Delhi Metro follows the rules. They stand in line. They follow the queue system. They will not spit anywhere. They will not throw water. They will not throw any kind of material over there. This is what I witnessed. Maybe I am wrong, but I'm giving the example because law enforcement is good. You can see CISF people walking here and there. They are monitoring cameras and all these things are there. You have one entry, you have one exit. You have to follow token. You take card. So these are the characteristics. So they have the law. They have the judicial capabilities. If you found in certain kind of act, they will just caught you. They will throw you in the police stations. They have the so whenever we use this certain things, it is very terrorism is a very debatable subject. But yes, strengthening law enforcement and judicial capabilities can mitigate the issues of terrorism. Expanding aviation and border security is a big thing. Terrorism, so that nobody can cross from the border. This for part. Examples. I have quoted here some 4-5 examples. First, US aircraft hijacked in May 1961. Puerto Rican born forced at gunpoint a national airlines to fly to Havana, Cuba, where he was given asylum. Ambassador to Guatemala assassinated. US ambassador to Guatemala was murdered by a rebel faction when gunmen forced his official car off the road of Guatemala City and dragged with vehicle gunfire. Ambassador to Japan attacked. US ambassador to Japan mayor was attacked by a knife-wielding Japanese citizen. We have seen Japanese prime minister also earlier got killed. You have heard that this thing. Then US Indian also you have witnessed our prime ministers got face the problems, and we also face the problem. Attack on the Munich airport, 1973. Terrorists attacked EI passenger bus in the bus of Munich airport with guns and grenades. One passenger was killed and 11 got injured. All the terrorists were captured by airport police. The Action Organizations for the Liberation of Palestine and the Popular Democratic Front of the Liberation of Palestine claimed responsibility for the attack. So you can see the terrorism in India also. You can see the Kashmir issues. There are people over there, and why only terrorism activities? You can see internal terrorism activities in certain places of Chhattisgarh. Also, you will see Naxalites are there, Maoists are there. These people are there. All these are acts of terrorism, and to mitigate or to stop these things is tough for any government. It is very tough for any government. Then US Agency for International Development Advisor kidnapped in this 31st July 70, Bloody Friday 21st July 72. In this case, Irish Republican Army IRA bomb attack killed 11 people and injured 130 in Northern Ireland. Munich Olympic massacre 22. 8 Palestinian Black September test seized 11 Israeli athletes in the Olympic village of Munich. In a bungled rescue attempts by West German authorities, 9 of the hostages and 5 terrorists were killed. So again, you can see people, fatalities are there. People, it is basically a group of man-made disasters only. Next class is panic, overcrowding, and stampedes. The combination of panic and overcrowding can lead to stampedes. Numerous stampede events have risen to the status of man-made disasters. For example, 100 people died in the station nightclub in Rhode Island where a fire broke and people rushed to leave the building. We can see in India also various festivals are there, various pujas and all things. You can see very well. Stampede is quite relevant in very festive scenes. Wherever religious gathering also there, it's a big thing, and at one go, hundreds of people will die. So again, it's a disaster spectrum that we are not able. The coping capacity goes beyond our this thing. We are not able to cope the situation, and due to any circumstances, we be in big problem. But the features. A stampede is a dangerous situation that occurs when a crowd moves in the same direction at the same time, beyond the capacity of a space. Very simple definition. We have the space of 100 people and people standing are thousands. So again, it is going to be a big problem. It starts from the panic, overcrowding stampedes. During a stampede, people collide, pile up against or on top of one another. Countermeasures can extremely dangerous and life-threatening, especially in crowded public places such as stadiums, concerts, malls, public ones. So there we should take a special distinct. General countermeasures are just you have to stop all these things. You have to take proper SOP. Don't allow more people inside that system, and we can address. Global warming and greenhouse effect, climate change, already quoted, is considered the biggest threat to modern humanity. If climate change goals are not met, researchers predict that widespread displacement of people, famine, and warfare for resources. Climate change also intensifies natural disasters like drought, wildfires, hurricanes. It is a contributory to anything. We all are very this thing, and we can understand. What are the features? Global warming and greenhouse effects are interrelated phenomena that are primarily driven by the increase in greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere. These processes have significant impact on the planet's climate and environment. We are witnessing, we can see the temperature is rising by, say, half degree, then 1 degree. Right now, we all are addicted to 48 degree, 45 degree in Delhi NCR and any places in the world. And because the adaptation is there, up to an extent, we all will adapt. And what will happen, we cannot commit at this point. Countermeasure addressing global warming and mitigating the greenhouse effects require a comprehensive approach involving best strategies at individual, community, national, and international levels. So, if we talk about this particular countermeasures, individual, community, nation, and international levels, we all have to work together. It's not a one-man job or say one government job. We all have to contribute in this particular man-made disaster. Why? You can just think the condition of Delhi NCR during the winter seasons. Contribution of smoke, smog, dust particles, particulate matters, everything is there. You can see the parameters of particulate matter 2.5, particulate matter 10, everything increases to a big extent. That becomes the place not safe for children, not safe for anybody. But we cannot do anything until unless every pillar of the community comes to take to play. Everybody has to contribute, and we will stop this thing. We all have to plant trees. We have to utilize the water properly. We don't have to say use much this type of material which is harmful to the climate. So everything is there, and we all know these issues quite easily. Deforestation, again, this thing I have quoted, is not always considered a disaster in its own right. However, deforestation can cause other disasters like landslides, mudslides, flooding. The example of Joshimat I have already quoted. The amount of water is much because of seepage, and you can see most of the people have to be rehabilitated from Joshimat. Example is that deforestation is not the primary cause, but yes, it is the contributor to other disasters. What I told as landslides, mudslides, flooding. This is happening actually. This deforestation can also cause habitat loss and increasing global warming. We are witnessing. Just you go. I think most of you are traveling to the mountains. You will just go anytime and see the Joshimat condition. You can see water everywhere over there. Everywhere water. Seepage, seepage, seepage. This building is going to fall. This building is going to fall. This hotel is going to be closed. Prediction is that Joshimat will be entirely finished. So these are things. This is deforestation is result of one of the things. Countermeasures: plant more trees, go paperless, support responsible companies or agencies. Whosoever is working on that, this is our primary duty to support these people. Specific issues with disaster management for deforestation. Deforestation is a significant environmental issue that exacerbates several disaster-related problems I have quoted, like landslide, mudslides, rehabilitation, community rehabilitation, loss of earning mechanism. Managing the impacts of deforestation involves addressing specific problem areas to mitigate disaster effectively. Some problems areas of disaster management in context of deforestation: it will increase landslide and soil erosion, flash flooding, water runoff, loss of biodiversity and ecological imbalance, carbon emissions and climate change impact, and loss of livelihood and community vulnerability. Just take example of a big hotel over there in Joshimat and it got rehabilitated. What we can provide? We will provide a land to them. We will provide a small livelihood mechanism. But think about what he was earning earlier and what was his life, the community this thing. But right now where he don't have anything in his house. He only have depend on the thing which is given by the community or the government. So loss of livelihood is a very big problem in case of deforestation. Causes of deforestation are logging. Illegal logging activities are very common that destroys the livelihood of people depending on forest. Wood-based industries like paper, matchsticks, furniture need a substantial amount of food supply. Wood is used for fuel as commonly, and so large amount of trees are cut down for fuel supply. Firewood and charcoal are used as fuel. So it's a very common cause of deforestation. It's called logging. Agricultural activities, the conversion of forests into agricultural land is a big reason for deforestation. Due to overgrowing demand for food products, many trees are chopped down for crops and cattle grazing. Over 40% of the forest are cleaned to obtain land and meet the needs of agriculture groups. So agricultural activities are a big contributor along with logging for deforestation. Mining, oil and mining of coal requires a large amount of forest land. Construction of roads leads to deforestation as they provide the way to remote land. The waste that comes out of mining pollutes the environment and affects the nearby species. You know very well all these things. Only for the more important part, I am putting here urbanization. As the population grows, the need of people increases, which further leads to deforestation. We are the number one populated country in the world, and we are very proud of that. I don't know why, for what purpose we are proud, but yes, we have generations, we have young populations. But think about the context when we all get old after 20, 30 years. We will become the country having the most number of old people there. Dependency on young generations too much. How will we contribute? And deforestation is there. So, coming to the topic, forests shrink to a great extent to meet the requirement like the construction of roads, development of houses, mineral exploitations, and expansion of industries. Increasing populations directly affects forest. As with the expansion of cities, there is a need of more land for housing and settlements. Timber production and forest fire also a big contributor. Timber production, one of the primary cause of deforestation is production of timber. Yes, we have laws, regulations, but then also unauthorized timber production is going on the on that note that yes, they are legal this thing, but government is not allowing too much of cutting of forests. Forest fire, yes, it's a big thing. We lose a large number of trees every year due to fires in the forest in various portions worldwide. This happens due to extreme summers and winters. The fire caused by man or nature results in huge of forest covers. But yes, in man-made deforestation, again, it's contributed some parties of nature. But again, the fire will not come by own. 90% chances that we people, we as a human being, contribute to cause the fire in the forest. Pollution, I have covered certain things about the pollution, but yes, again, on a broader note, pollution isn't usually considered a natural disaster, but has a very high death toll. Example is of the condition, the gas chamber of Delhi NCR. Some reports say population kills more people yearly than war, natural disasters, and hunger. Pollution also has a massive economic cost, and I live in Delhi NCR. I know very well, and people who are the participant, those who have witnessed the conditions of pollution in this season, coming season of say November to December, it is very terrible experience for anybody. See, it's very terrible, and we live in a gas chamber type of thing. We are not able to witness sun for around 10, 20 days. Only smoke, and this thing. You can feel itching, irritation, everything on your body. You can easily understand pollution is increased. No need for any calculator or tools to watch that. What is the ppm level? You will easily witness. You are unable to respirate properly. The skin will be very itching. Everything is deposited on your body. So it is very tough for us. Pollution, the features, pollution is the introduction of harmful materials into the environment. In very simple thing, pollution can be natural, such as volcanic ash, or created by human activities, such as trash or unproduced by the factories, or the smoke coming out of the vehicles, which should be condemned, which we should not be out of the country. They are still using, and the biggest contributor, as per my this thing, is contributors two-wheelers, because the life of two-wheelers as the life of cars is quite equivalent. They all are using engines only. They are burning fuel only. They are contributing in the atmosphere. So you can just think, in Delhi NCR there are crores of bikes, not crores, say lakhs of bikes. You can just imagine lakhs of bikes are there, how much they contribute. Only for example point, I'm not going for the policy part, but pollution, this thing. Countermeasures, 3 Rs: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Government is taking initiatives. They are promoting you to use metros, use green vehicles, use electrical vehicles, go for sharing part. Unnecessary use of vehicles not allowed. Use BS6 compliance vehicles, but it depends on the community how to go for the countermeasure. You all are very well aware of this thing. Specific issues: air pollution, water, and soil. Everything is being polluted: air, water, and soil. We have already discussed all this. Some examples of water: domestic sewage, hazardous waste, oil pollution, agricultural pollutions. Air pollution, greenhouse, dust storms, automatic pollution, fuel combustion, everything is there. Soil pollution, solid waste, pesticides, industrial pollutants, heavy metal. So everybody is contributor. When we are being polluted, you know very well, we are being polluted. Everywhere we are being polluted. So we have to think on that part, and how to stop is depends on us, not to anybody. Then the last part of my presentation is biological disaster. CBRN, I have covered chemical. I have tried to cover something nuclear parts, only on the smaller node only, because we have a very big and specific sections on biological, radionuclear, and chemical part. So we will discuss on that thing. So biological disasters are scenarios involving disease, disability, or death on a large scale among humans, animals, and plants due to toxins or disease caused by living organisms, and it might be caused by epidemics, accidental use of microorganisms, or bioterrorisms. With the use of biological agents such as anthrax, smallpox, etc., biological agents are nothing but microorganisms such as viruses, bacteria, fungi that affect humans, livestock, or crops caused by bacterial disease. Microorganisms can cause disease in other organisms or in humans, animals, plants. Despite that, I also try to quote communicable disease also. It is an infectious conditions that can be transmitted from one living being, person to animal, or animal to another through a variety of routes according to the nature of the disease. Disinfectants are antimicrobial agents that are applied to non-living objects to destroy microorganisms. During the occurrence, symptoms of illness do not appear immediately, but after some days or incubation period that may last for days or weeks. Such disasters may be natural in the form of epidemics or pandemics of existing, emerging, or re-emerging disease, and man-made by the intentional use of disease-causing agents by biological warfare operations or incidents of bioterrorism. You will get a very good lecture of biological warfare in the coming weeks. So only for the introduction part, I have tried to inculcate this particular sites in series. So this is this thing. Bioterrorism, other part, it is a part related to the man-made disaster. It is the intentional use of microorganisms or toxins derived from living organisms to produce death or disease in humans, animals, or planets. Biological weapons include any organism or toxins found in nature that can be used to incapacitate, kill, or cause physical economic harm. Biological weapons are characterized by low visibility, high potential, substantial accessibility, and relatively easy delivery methods. The three basic groups of biological agents which could be used as weapons are bacteria, virus, and toxins. You will be teach in a big spectrum for these things. How bacteria will contribute, how virus can use as biological agents, how toxins are utilized for biological agents, and you will learn a lot. Most biological agents are difficult to grow and maintain. Many break down quickly when exposed to sunlight and other factors, while others, such as anthrax spores, are long-lived. So this is only overview of biological disaster. Again, I have quoted that this particular training program is basically for what? For CBRN. So you will get everything about the CBRN, and B is a very big spectrum. We will be discussing all these things in the subsequent slides in the coming weeks. So there are some examples. Plagues of Athens killed 40,000 people. SARS, bird flu, swine flu, COVID-19, MERS, Ebola, hemorrhagic fever, Nipah virus. Everything is there. I'm not trying to give all you details, but yes, only for the knowledge part, you can see that they have categories 1, 2, 3, and we have a number of categories for biological disasters that have caused death. COVID is very new. COVID-19, you all have witnessed, we all have witnessed, we have faced the issues related to COVID. So this is a thing which we have seen on a regular basis, and we have to focus on that part. So with this slide, I am very thank you to listen me. For the questions part, you just put the questions in the chat box. I will try to give answer in the next coming lecture. Whatever you want to ask me for these particular slides, because I will be we will be supplying the PPTs to you. It will be beneficial for you to take this particular matter. And please, for this time, you just write down in the chat box. I will try to give answer after the in the next session, because time is somewhat short, so it will be beneficial for each and every people. So with that, thank you very much. Hope you have learned something, and thanks